When Apple released the iPhone 16, they did something unusual. They heavily advertised the iPhone shipping with features that were not available on launch day. And we're not talking about one or two ads here. We're talking about a concentrated, heavily advertised, targeted campaign on Apple Intelligence, going so far as to completely remodel their most famous Apple Store in a multicolored, glowing Siri outline, a redesigned feature that, you guessed it, was not on my launch iPhone 16 Pro. However, after waiting, a few months and after a couple of software updates, Apple Intelligence is finally here. But was the wait finally worth it? And does it mean you should go buy a new iPhone 16 right now?
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Before we tackle that question, let's talk about some of my favorite charging accessories from ESR. Now, if you're like me, you have a growing list of products that you need to charge every day. So if you're still plugging in all of your devices at the end of the day, that needs to stop right now. Now, I recommend picking up one of these ESR 3-in-1 Cryo Boost chargers, which can charge your iPhone, your AirPods, and your Apple Watch, all with a single charging stand. And while you might think wireless charging is slow, this charger has 15 watts of MagSafe Qi 2 charging, and it's even faster compared to other wireless chargers because of their Cryo Boost technology, which keeps your phone cool and prevents overheating for a faster charge. The Apple Watch charger on the back can even charge a Series 9 Apple Watch to 75% in just 70 minutes, 50 minutes faster than other non-Apple certified brands. When I'm on the go, I also bring along an ESR Qi 2 MagSafe battery pack. It attaches magnetically to the back of my iPhone 16 Pro, and it's only 15.5 millimeters thick, while still providing 5,000 milliamp hours of battery that can fast charge at 15 watts, which can charge an iPhone 15 Pro to 84% in just 2 hours and 25 minutes. And the kickstand on the back is great for propping it up to charge or for watching content on the go. ESR has you covered at home, on the go, and even in your car with a fast 15-watt MagSafe charger, which can fully charge my iPhone 16 Pro in 1 hour and 48 minutes, all while using it for navigation. And of course, it keeps it cool with Cryo Boost technology. So no matter what wireless charger you need, ESR has you covered, and you can grab one of these wireless chargers for 20% off during their holiday sale. Now, Apple Intelligence consists of a lot of new features, so it's not one unifying feature that we are discussing. However, because there's so many of them, I do think it's a good idea to break these features down into some distinct categories. To make it simple, I've broken them down into 3-ish areas. The first Apple Intelligence ability is the ability to summarize. Second, it has creative tools. And third, Apple Intelligence is a smarter assistant, or a Siri that actually works. But the one feature that does repeat itself in a lot of ways is Apple Intelligence ability to summarize everything. The area where I notice this the most is in Notification Center, and this is one of the areas where I was really hoping that Apple Intelligence would be able to sort through the massive amount of notifications I receive on a daily basis. Now, it doesn't attempt to summarize all of these notifications in one field. Rather, it will split them up based on notification type. So if I get a few emails or a couple Twitter notifications or a bunch of missed messages, Apple Intelligence will usually try to distill those notifications down to around a 3-line summary. Now, I do find this feature helpful when it works, and I find it works best for notifications like news articles, wallet transactions, or promotions from stores. That's because the information from these types of notifications is pretty predictable, and they follow a certain logic that Apple Intelligence seems to keep track of very well. That logic does seem to break apart, though, in one area where I was hoping these summaries would really help out, and that is with missed messages. I tend to miss a lot of group messages because I'm constantly putting my iPhone into Do Not Disturb, and my friends are always on me about missing messages, and my family too, and everyone. So if you're one of those people watching this video, I'm so sorry, but Apple Intelligence, it does not help me here that much. Now, there are times where it does work, right? And Apple Summaries can do a good job breaking down a bundle of messages, but considering me and my friends usually send a lot of jokes to each other in our messages, there are times where Notification Summaries kind of takes it too seriously, and it depicts a reality that just isn't. Now, this summary system, again, comes in multiple areas. It works for emails as well, and in that area, it actually does seem to work better than messages. And again, I think this is because emails are pretty straightforward. There's a lot less joking around and trivial information to parse through. Still, there has been enough hit and miss experiences overall where I cannot trust these notification summaries fully, and I still have to click through each notification to make sure there aren't important details I missed out on, which ultimately is the biggest problem with relying on AI to summarize important information. If it leaves something important out even once, you'll never trust it again. And trust goes a long way here. There are other tools to help kind of surface this information. One of those would be priority notifications, either through messages or emails. And that should theoretically take very important or urgent messages or emails and just bring that up to the top of the notification list. Now, granted, I don't really live an urgent life. This is Greg's Gadgets we're talking about. There's not too many times where a last-minute party invitation comes in and I have to answer it. That just never happens. I don't know why it doesn't happen. I don't know why people don't invite me to these parties, but they don't. But I have received a few priority email or message notifications, and for the times where I had them pop up, they really weren't all that urgent. Yeah, no, I don't care if that was a priority notification, I am not sending you a free MacBook. Although if this were an email I was going to respond to, perhaps I'd do it with Apple's new writing tools, another Apple Intelligence feature that I was pretty excited to use when I saw it announced, because unlike a lot of other AI solutions that already do this, it doesn't require you to use a third-party app. You can use writing tools in any writing app that you're already using. So I can stick to the ones I use already and get a helpful AI feature that can help me change my writing style or proofread my writing. And I think writing tools is kind of a boring feature. We don't need to spend 10 minutes talking about how great this would have been for writing a thesis, but I do find that this feature is helpful for my day-to-day writing. I would say my most used feature from this is just the simple proofreading option, which catches more mistakes than the traditional grammar checker. I have also found it helpful at times to select the option to make my writing more concise, and at times I've responded to a few client emails and attempted to make myself sound a little bit more professional. I can also describe how I want the writing to sound, so if I want to make it sound more like a poem, I can do that, but some descriptions I've tried, like some of the more creative ones, just don't work right now and are way more limited compared to other AIs that can already do this problem. And that is the main problem I found with these features. While they do work, these writing tools can already be found on third-party AI clients like ChatGPT, and oftentimes, these writing tools in those apps are more flexible with producing a result that you want, whereas Apple's system seems to be a bit more rigid in what it allows you to turn out. However, what I do like about Apple's writing tools is that they're simple. And for daily writing, like sending emails, these are really the only tools you need. And because it's built into the apps, I find that I use it more often than going to a third-party app like ChatGPT. Now, while I said writing tools are kind of boring, other areas of creativity are actually more exciting. My most used Apple Intelligence feature is something I predicted would be a big deal when I saw it announced, and that is the ability to make any emoji you want with Genmoji. Emojis are really popular. In fact, when there's a new iOS software update, people usually rush out to update their phones, not for new software features or bug fixes, but because there's just a new set of emojis. However, there's clearly not an emoji for everything, and if you want a new emoji to be made, well, you have to go through a bureaucratic step of submitting a proposal to the Unicode Consortium, and that process can take up to 2 years to be approved. So Genmoji kind of solves that problem by letting you create any emoji you want with Apple Intelligence. And where a lot of generative images tend to fall apart because they look uncanny, they look kind of fake, the emoji generation looks really good. And that shouldn't be surprising because there's not too much detail in an emoji. And it works really well. I'm surprised by the amount of emojis that you can actually make through this. Of course, there are some limitations. You can't really do anything too violent or X-rated here, but there are enough different variations with the emoji to really get some unique results. And if you don't like the results of your creation, I like that you can just swipe through different iterations until you find the one that you like. I was also impressed that you can pull photos from your contact lists and you can create custom emojis not only of yourself, but your friends and family too. And while Genmoji isn't going to scrape the internet for pictures of celebrities, if you want to add Patrick Bateman or Tony Soprano to your contact list, well, you can generate images of them too. Now, the other side of this coin is Apple's other image generation tool, Image Playgrounds, which I had the total opposite experience with compared to Genmoji. Image Playground is like a dumbed down version of every other AI image generator you've ever played with over the last 3 years. I suppose you can credit it again for mostly running on device, and because your iPhone has all of your contacts already synced, it is easy to feed it photos of your friends and family to create custom images, whereas on a third-party site, you would kind of have to feed it those images, and then maybe that's almost like a violation of privacy, depending on how that AI uses those images. But for this to be useful, it has to be something you want to use. And unlike Genmoji, every result I get from these custom images just look bad to me. Like, I would never send these to anyone, and they feel soulless and lifeless, kind of like a lot of other AI art and images. So one thumbs up for Genmoji, and honestly, great idea and a harmless way to use generative AI, and one thumbs down for shipping image playgrounds, because this is just embarrassing. I mean, for me, I look like a total freak, Apple. Do you think I look like this? Come on. You hardly captured my beauty. There are a few more creative things you can do with Apple Intelligence that are pretty helpful. The one I can see a lot of people using is Apple's photo cleanup tool, which basically lets you remove people or unwanted objects from the background of photos. And it's really simple. Most of the times it will outline people. You can just tap them and remove them, or you can even like draw like a circle or just scribble out someone. And it does a decent job removing the subject from a photo and auto-generating a matching background. Then there's the part of Apple Intelligence that nearly everyone agrees needs a huge upgrade. Yeah, Siri. First of all, let me say that the Siri in iOS 18.2 does get some nice updates besides this awesome new animation. It can do follow-up requests and it understands natural language better, so in case you say the wrong request and then fix it or stumble on your words, well, Siri understands what you meant to actually say. Still, Siri has not gained a huge knowledge base for answering questions, and it's still a huge weak point of the overall Siri experience. However, that's where Apple has decided to integrate ChatGPT into these requests. Now, the way this works is basically anytime Siri can't answer a question, it will then ask if it's okay to ask ChatGPT. And you can even turn this off in settings like I did, so it goes straight to ChatGPT without asking you to make the process much more seamless and much faster. And from there, you can get results and answers for all types of questions answered by ChatGPT. Basically, if you've used ChatGPT before, it works pretty much the same way, except this time, instead of typing to it or using its own voice interface, you interface with ChatGPT directly through Siri without having to go into the app. While I like the integration here, the problem is this really isn't an exclusive feature. Apple Intelligence is pitched at being a new feature that requires new hardware to run. For the most part, you need a new iPhone 16 unless you already own an iPhone 15 Pro. So does it really make sense to run out and go buy a new iPhone 16 when any iPhone can download the ChatGPT app and get a better experience just using the regular app? And the most frustrating thing is this isn't the major Siri upgrade that Apple showed off at their event, or even in the ads they are still running on TV, which show Siri with far more advanced capabilities, like being able to understand personal context to draw from your calendar, your photos, your messages, and other information directly on your phone, or just general on-screen awareness. So if your friend sends you a message with an address, you could just then ask Siri to add that address directly into your contacts. These are still features that are not available on Apple Intelligence on your new iPhone 16, even 3 months after the phone has launched. To make matters worse, these new Siri features, the ones that I'm really excited for, aren't apparently coming until iOS 18.4, software that isn't supposed to come out for another 3 months. And by that time, that's 6 months after the iPhone 16 has launched, and it's still missing some key Apple Intelligence features. Still, I don't want to focus on what isn't here. And yeah, there's a couple AI features that I didn't mention in this video, like visual lookup, which can use your iPhone's camera, very similar to Google Lens. You get more transcription features in voice memos. You can transcribe a complete phone call. Those are all using AI, and these are features that are exclusive to the iPhone 16. And that just goes to show you that there are a lot of useful bundled in features here with Apple Intelligence that were not available on your iPhone a few months ago and aren't available on a lot of older iPhones. So for the most part, Apple has delivered on most of the features they announced 7 months ago. And while I wouldn't say any one of these features has been groundbreaking or life-changing, most are nice additions on the iPhone, and there are a lot of features that just weren't here before. And they aren't locked behind a subscription service like some other AI features. They are free to use as long as you have one of the latest iPhone models. Now, does this make the iPhone 16 or 16 Pro an instant upgrade? No, I don't think so. I still think there's a lot playing out here, and we are still waiting for the most impactful upgrades like a more personal Siri, which will give Apple a unique advantage compared to other AI models that just aren't here yet. That also means the iPhone 16 Pro isn't worth it. If you were thinking about upgrading your phone for other reasons and Apple Intelligence is a nice bonus, I would say get it, but I wouldn't say buy the new iPhone 16 just based on Apple Intelligence features alone. But I'm just one user, and these are just my opinions. So let me know what you think about Apple Intelligence in the comments below. And if you found the video helpful, please give me a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll catch you all in the next one. See, I could have used Apple Intelligence to fix up that last part of the sentence because I kind of stumbled upon it. Wouldn't it be great if I was replaced with AI? That could be coming soon.